Hello students, welcome back to class. First of all, thank you to everybody who is being vegan and who is trying to be vegan. Second of all, this is my shirt that says vegan donut. Do you remember what Gordon Ramsay called me? A vegan donut. And do you know what I did when he said that? I didn't start crying. I took it as a compliment. When somebody hurls an insult at you, you can always choose how to take it. Now, he was clearly trying to say that I was a donut, and I guess he was trying to say I'm shallow, hollow inside, maybe stupid. I don't know how he meant it, but I took it as him saying, you are a vegan donut, which means that you are sweet and everybody wants a part of you. So that's how I take it. So I proudly wear that message of vegan donut on my shirt. And so when somebody insults you, you have always the choice. The insult comes at you, you can either take it and feel sad and start crying, or you can just go whoop, let it go out of the way, or you can sort of catch it a little bit and sort of say, well, now what can I do with this insult? How can I manipulate this in order to not curl up in a corner and start crying? You know, 50 million people saw the video of Gordon Ramsay calling me a donut, and everybody thought it was hilarious, and that, boy, did he ever get me. He called me a vegan donut. Big fucking deal. So if somebody calls you a name, who cares? You know, deal with it. Yeah, it's not nice if somebody's trying to be mean to you, but you have a choice in how to deal with it. Now, let's talk about expression, freedom of expression. And we're going to talk about something here that's in the news recently. You can see here on the right, this is the Queen of England, and this is Meghan Markle. She is sitting on her neck. We're going to be talking about the article, and we're going to talk about the song that I composed, which is called I Can't Breathe. And this is all related to the animals in this way that right now, animal rights activists are being censored. There is a law right now called Bill 156 in Ontario, Canada, that does not allow us to go into facilities and film what's going on with the animals. So we have a real problem with censorship, I would say, around the world at this time, and it's scary and it's dangerous. So let's talk about this article. Should it have been censored? Is it racist? Let's start by looking at this article and reading it. Don't know if you can see this screen here. I'm going to see if I can try to move it over a little bit better so that you can read it. Try to shrink it and see if that's going to help. Is that going to work? Okay. Can you see that? Oh, make it a bit smaller. Sorry about my lack of technical abilities. And you know what? Some people might say, why the heck are you here trying to make videos when you can't even get the technology right? And my response to that is, so what? I'm doing my best, you know? Okay, so let me just try and check one more button here. Now, apparently there's a button that I can press that has to do with percentage or something. Let me see if I can find that. Oh yeah, there's a little buttons here, and I can make this down to a zoom. Let's see if this works. Okay, now why am I doing this in front of you? You know, you might be saying to yourself, why did she not fix all this before coming on? Well, because I'm not perfect, and I have a life, and I have things to do. And oh, there we go. I think I got it all. And because, you know, if I spend too much time thinking about this and worrying about it, I'll never get anything done. And sometimes in life, here's an expression to think about. Okay? Perfection is the enemy of good enough. So if you're doing your job and you're doing okay, you're getting like a 70% at it, you know, that's fine. You don't have to be perfect. Just try. That's what I'm doing. So this whole channel is full of mistakes. It's full of me learning what's going on. I'm working my way through things just like you guys are. But what I do is I care about the animals, and I'm going to try to relate it to society and talk about censorship to the best of my abilities with a completely average, maybe even below average IQ. I don't know, but I'm here. You can listen or you can go away. So let's have a look here. Okay, French satire magazine Charlie Hebdo has prompted outrage after releasing a cartoon depicting the UK's Queen Elizabeth kneeling on the neck of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, invoking the death of George Floyd. So for those of you who don't remember, George Floyd was a black man who was murdered. Or you could call him dark-skinned, whatever. He had darker skin. And he was murdered by a police officer who put his knee on his neck after a crime had been committed, and he killed him. It was terrible. And on that day, I cried because I just could not believe how horrific this was. And I felt so bad for everybody involved, the family, and all of the people who were watching this crime happen, who were yelling at the police to stop. And I wrote a song called I Can't Breathe. And my song, which you can see on my site, on my YouTube channel, is about all kinds of victims who cannot breathe, including Regan Russell, animal rights activist, who was run over by a truck and squished to death and dragged along the road because she was trying to give water to pigs. She couldn't breathe. George Floyd couldn't breathe. These are terrible things that we do. We also force every day animals in gas chambers, pigs in gas chambers where they can't breathe. And all of these individuals are victims. And we slice the necks off of chickens and we stab the necks of cows, and none of it is okay. None of it is okay. And if people don't like the fact that I'm talking about the animals in the same way as I'm talking about humans, well, too bad. Stop being a speciesist. Now let's have a look at the rest of this article. The cover image of the cartoon came days after Meghan and her husband Harry made a series of damning accusations against the royal family in an interview with Oprah Winfrey, including that the skin tone of the couple's child, Archie, was discussed as a potential issue before he was born. As a potential issue. All right, let's think about that for a second. Meghan, who I didn't even know was black until somebody said, by the way, she's partly black. It's like, oh yeah? Because when I saw her, she just looked like, I don't know, like she had a great tan. And she had some, she seems to have freckles, but whatever. Apparently she has a black mom. Fine. Great. I think she's beautiful. But whatever. I don't understand what skin has anything to do with anything at all. But she married Harry because they were in love. And here's this rich actress who made the decision to go and live with these rich royals in the Buckingham Palace. And apparently when she got there, and she wasn't happy. So she knew what she was getting into. She knew that this is a royal family and they have all these traditions, and you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to stand this way and you got to, I don't know if you have to wear the hats, but whatever, they all seem to wear the hats, and you got to present yourself and show up at events, and that's the job. That's the job she signed up for. When she got there, I guess she didn't like it and she felt very upset. And when she was pregnant, with her child, she felt suicidal, or at some point she felt suicidal and felt like she couldn't get help for that, which is extremely sad. I mean, if people are feeling suicidal, my heart goes out to them. And it just goes to show you that no amount of money or fame can make you happy, right? You should never strive to try to be famous. It's just not worth it. And you should never strive to try to be rich. It's just not worth it. What makes people happy? It has been proven that you will be happy if you have your basic needs met, which is that you have a roof over your head and you have food in your fridge. You're not worried about how you're going to pay your rent. Like you're okay. You have a basic income that allows you to provide for your family, have a little bit of money on the side for some fun things once in a while. But after that, you're not going to be necessarily any happier the more money you have at all. And fame? What is fame? Why would anyone want to be famous? What does that do? It just takes away your privacy. If you're famous for something that you did that's right, then you should be proud of doing that thing. But nobody should ever strive to be famous. In fact, I can say that the times that I have been well known, which still continues now, basically suck. Who wants to walk down the street and have everybody know you or think they know you with tons of rumors going around, and you don't know them and you don't know what they've read or what they're thinking? Because everybody tells lies. I mean, 4.5 million people saw a fake article about me that says that I murdered somebody. And so, I mean, who wants to be famous? I certainly don't, but I want to talk about the animals. And I want their voices to be heard. And I don't want censorship. Censorship is wrong. And I'm here talking about it. Let's continue. I just want to say something else about this. So they're talking about the skin tone of the couple's child, Archie. Okay, so was discussed as a potential issue before he was born. So why would it not be discussed? Think about it. When my daughter was pregnant, we had discussions like, oh, I wonder whose hair she'll have. Will she have this curly hair that her husband has, or will she have straight hair? You know, what's she going to look like? First of all, is it going to be a boy or girl? You talk about what's going to happen with this child. And then you wonder, oh, what if they're going to be, you know, have his face or her face? And, you know, I have a grandfather who had red hair. I wonder if she'll have red hair. Like, you know, it's normal to talk about. It doesn't mean that they're racist necessarily, but I guess they had the feeling that she was. And what comes to my mind is that if you're starting to feel suicidal, like, we don't know why she was saying that. She says it's partly because the family was racist. But if you have people that are ridiculous in your family, just assholes or racist, well, you just gotta you just gotta call them out and say, what the fuck is your problem? Like, hello? I mean, I have a hard time buying that this actually was an issue. I wasn't there, right? And we can never really put ourselves into the position of someone else's skin. But it seems to me, I don't know, it seems to me like if you have millions of dollars and you literally met your Prince Charming and you live in this giant home and you can so easily just put yourself into another area of the house, you don't necessarily have to sit and have dinner with your in-laws all the time and be facing with them if they're supposedly racist. Like, what is the problem? We all have some people in our family that say weird things. People in my family think I'm weird, some of them, because I'm vegan, not everybody. And other people do other things. In everybody's family, there's a few people that say weird stuff. So what? It doesn't mean you have to change countries completely and start calling them racist in front of everybody. I don't know. Maybe I'm really missing something, but let's keep going and look at this article. So what happened is she said that she was suffering. Now, I tried to research whether she actually said the words, "I can't breathe." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't find them. Now, maybe I'm not a reporter. I don't really know how to search things, but I Googled a bit. I watched a whole pile of different videos of interviews with her. I couldn't find that actual sentence. So I don't think she actually said that. What she said is she felt suicidal. I didn't hear any question. I didn't talk about how she felt like she was going to commit suicide. You know, whether she was just thinking about it or was seriously had a plan. And this is when Oprah was interviewing her, what I thought was lacking. Again, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they left out that part of the interview. Maybe it was said, maybe it wasn't. But what I see is that if somebody tells you that they are suicidal, a follow-up question would be, how would you do this? And if you see that they have a very concrete plan, this is alarming. You know, like they would say, okay, I've been thinking about that bridge and I would walk up there and I would jump, or I have a noose and whatever it is. You know, if you have a plan, it's danger sign. We learned this when I worked as a nurse for many years. And when you work in psychiatry, this is what, you know, part of these things you learn. Now, so we don't know if she was really serious, but now she's saying that she felt like she couldn't be left alone. She would have maybe harmed herself. So it sounds pretty serious, and she should have had some help in being able to talk to somebody about this. And it's really sad that she felt like she couldn't. Because just because you're part of the royal family, it doesn't mean that you don't suffer. I mean, do you remember Robin Williams, the comedian? He used to make everybody laugh, and he ended up killing himself. You know, what goes on? I know that when people tell lies about me and say that I have murdered somebody, and they say that I'm racist and homophobic, that this is a struggle for me. There have been times where I thought to myself the same thing, like, what am I doing here? Am I doing am I making the world a worse place by trying to make it a good place? No good deed goes unpunished. Now, I am still alive. A big reason is that I'm extremely curious, and because I truly believe that things always get better. Not necessarily better than before, but they get better than the moment where you were in the dark place. They always get better. So, I mean, something good always happens from that being knocked down. And personally, I don't find that in my life personally that talking to somebody has ever helped. I don't think it does, but but people say that you should reach out for help, you should ask for help, and you're going to get a therapist, and you're going to talk to therapists, and maybe she could have been helped. Maybe she did have somebody, I don't really know. Or she should have, maybe I think it was implied that she needed to go to an institution or some sort of clinic, or to live somewhere to protect herself. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is that she wanted and what she didn't get, but it was a very hard time for her, and that's sad. And my point is that few things. One, which I said, is that when you are feeling like that, you should call a suicide hotline or whatever, talk to somebody, because that's what everybody tells you to do. Me personally, I don't find that, and when I've been in that dark place, that talking to anybody has made any difference whatsoever. I have felt like I am on my own, and writing in a diary and just kicking myself in the ass is the only thing that has helped me, and still is right now. It's not easy knowing that so many people tell so many lies about you. But when it comes to Meghan, it's a shame that she had to go through that. It truly is. And I think that racism is fucking awful. And but do I believe that the Queen and her, I don't know. They don't say exactly who made these comments. And did they maybe just take them out of context? I don't know. It's hard. I guess it's just hard for me to imagine like that this would go on, because who cares what color her skin is? Like, I don't understand. And I don't understand. Anyway, so here she is. So this is in French. Pourquoi Meghan a quitté Buckingham? So why did she leave Buckingham? And it says, and she's saying, parce que je ne pouvais plus respirer, because I could not breathe anymore. I couldn't breathe. Now, like I said, I tried to find a quote where she said that in real life, and I couldn't. But it's implied here that what she meant is that she was having a hard time staying alive and feeling like she was dying inside, let's say. So let's continue. The cartoon was published on Saturday. Oh no, let's go over here. I didn't finish. So the couple would not reveal who had made the remarks, but said it wasn't the Queen Elizabeth, or the husband Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, in the interview. Meghan also described having regular suicidal thoughts during her pregnancy and brief time as a working royal, and the couple said the palace had offered Meghan and Archie adequate security and protection. Okay, let's keep going. The cartoon published Saturday is titled, Why Meghan Quit Buckingham, with Meghan drawn to say, because I couldn't breathe anymore. So that's what the cartoon says. It's not necessarily what she said in real life. Put this closer to me. The Halima Begum, CEO of race equality think tank, the Runnymede Trust, said the cartoon was wrong on every level. So somebody thinks that this cartoon was wrong on every level, and here's why. The Queen, as George Floyd's murderer, I don't know why this doesn't have a period, space between this, but the Queen as George Floyd's murderer crushing Meghan's neck, Meghan saying she's unable to breathe. This doesn't push boundaries, make anyone laugh, or challenge racism. It demeans the issue and causes offense across the board, she said on Twitter. Meghan and Harry's interview prompted widespread discussions about racism, both in the royal family and in the country's media. Prince William this week denied the royal family is racist. Okay, so that's Prince William, that's Harry's older brother, telling a reporter, we're very much not a racist family. Okay. In a statement on behalf of the Queen, Buckingham Palace said Tuesday that allegations of racism made by the Sussexes were concerning and being taken very seriously. Buckingham Palace and representatives of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex declined to comment on the Charlie Hebdo cartoon. The Paris-based weekly publication, which was founded in 1970, is famous for its provocative cartoons and takedowns of politicians, public figures, and religious symbols. In 2015, brothers Saeed and Sharif Kouachi burst into the magazine's newsroom and gunned down staffers, killing 12 and wounding 11 after the magazine published a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad. So this is why this is even more interesting, because they often do provocative things. And one time when they did it, some of their staff were murdered. So what did the attack on the magazine was part of a series of deadly attacks that killed 17 people in the French capital over 3 days in January 2015. So when the magazine published this, the response, instead of them cowering in fear and saying, okay, we're so sorry that we hurt somebody's feelings with our cartoon, they said, fuck you. You cannot tell us what to do. Free speech is allowed, and we're going to publish whatever we want. And now we're in 2021, 6 years later, and this is what they publish. And some people think it's racist. What do you think? Well, I personally don't think it's racist. I do not think that this shows that the royal family is racist in any way. And I think that this is simply somebody's art who is saying that this is how she felt. And they are saying that this is the impression that Meghan is giving, is that the royal family was so terrible that they were making her feel like she couldn't breathe. Now, I have some notes down here, because I want to talk about art and freedom of expression. And I'm going to go back to the song that I composed called I Can't Breathe. And let's talk about two different forms of art, which are both expressions. A way of expressing oneself is through art. One is through the song that I wrote, and this is through this cartoon. Now, both of these are art, and they are both referring to the sentence, I can't breathe. And they are both labeled as racist. People think that my song is racist. It is definitely not. In fact, it's the exact opposite. And this I wouldn't say is the exact opposite. This is not showing that you're against racism, but it's simply saying that this is how she felt. This princess, is she a princess? Do they call her that? I don't know if I guess she's a princess because she's married to a royal who's a prince. So, but this is how she felt. This is what she was trying to say. Now, the difference between the two is that, let's talk about George Floyd and let's talk about Meghan Markle, just to compare the two, okay? So George Floyd was definitely a person of very dark skin. Meghan Markle, I personally didn't even know that she had any black in her. It never dawned on me. And when it was told me, I was like, what? Like I said, I don't know maybe what you all thought. Please write it in the comments. Tell me your opinion and tell me what you thought. Now let's talk about the two again. So with George Floyd, with Meghan, let's go back. So she felt like psychologically she couldn't breathe. Okay, there was no actual physical pressure on her neck. With George Floyd, he actually couldn't breathe. He physically had a knee on his neck and he was pinned to the ground. These are not the same thing. He was murdered. He was a man who did not have a lot of money. She is a rich princess living in a fucking castle. Should this be allowed to be shown? Yes. Yes, it's allowed. They're making fun of her, basically. They're making fun of her, but they are not racist in doing this. They are just saying, come on. Really? You know, it might be in poor taste, but they're saying, come on, really? You are somebody who's living in the palace with all this money. You married your Prince Charming, and you're such a victim? That's what they're saying. I'm saying that, yes, if you are thinking of committing suicide, there's something wrong and you need help. And nobody should be making fun of those people who are suffering. Anybody can suffer. Rich people can suffer, poor people can suffer, white people can suffer, black people can suffer, and every single animal on this planet can suffer. Nobody wants to feel physical pain, and nobody wants to feel like they're backed into a corner and can't breathe psychologically. When it comes to the animals in our system, we literally slice their necks, and we don't have to. And we should not be abusing any animals. Nobody should. None of these people should be eating animals. Nobody should. When it comes to my song, the song that I wrote, it's called I Can't Breathe, and it talks about all different components. It talks about animals who can't breathe. It talks about humans who can't breathe. It talks about not being racist. And it talks about us needing to have compassion for everyone. That includes babies who are being circumcised and indigenous people.
I am a cow being sent to slaughter. You've sealed your rope around my neck. I can't breathe. I am a pig thrown in this gas chamber, pleading for my freedom. I can't breathe. I am a chicken upside down. Your knife is sliced inside my windpipe. I can't breathe. I am a lamb torn from my mother. Your hands are clenched, squeezing my throat. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. A fish yanked out of water. You've tricked your hook inside my palate. I can't breathe. I am a horse trapped on a blood farm. You're draining my lifeline to use for hormones. I can't breathe. I am a monkey in your lab. You've strapped your Volkswagen exhaust on my face. I am a mouse behind your fridge. Your trap has Snapchat on my torso. I can't breathe. 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 I am a baby boy strapped down. Your knife's on my penis without consent. I can't breathe. I am an immigrant worker with COVID being forced to butcher your dinner. I can't breathe. I am an indigenous mother. A white man has pushed himself inside me. I can't breathe. I am a Canadian woman with a protest sign. Your Auschwitz truck has run over me. I can't breathe. I am an American man on the ground. A knee is pressed into my neck. I can't breathe.
What are you doing? Get off him!
Can't breathe.
Get off him! Get off him! He's already dead!
Can't breathe.
He's already dead! He's already dead! What are you doing?
I can't breathe.
Leave him alone! Leave him
Allow people to express themselves. Don't ban words. Don't ban ideas. Ban cruelty. There's a difference. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. And thank you to everybody who is being kind and sticking up for everybody who is a victim. No matter what their age, no matter what their race, no matter what their gender, there are victims everywhere who need us to speak out on behalf of them. Don't confuse who is racist and who isn't. Listen to their actual message. Don't get all mixed up. Allow freedom of speech. Be kind. Thank you for listening. Goodbye for now.